If you cannot define femininity because it is putting in a box, the same thing applies to masculinity, right?
जनरली द परसेप्शन ऑफ विलन्स है कि बहुत ही अनटाइडी से होंगे, बहुत अजीब से दिखने वाले टाइप के. ही इज द मोस्ट सोफिस्टिकेटेड पॉइज्ड एंड cleanest character in the entire movie एक तरीके से.
I don't know. Shouldn't a feel-good movie have a person crying on the therapist? Is that so wrong? Like he's trying to become better, and that is the whole point.
Welcome everyone. My name is Sankal Sharma, and welcome to the Abstract Room. Today we are having a session on Kumbalangi Nights. It's a Malayalam film, and so I had been asked to watch this movie for a really long time, and I finally watched this, and I really liked it, obviously. But it was like a slow burn for me. धीरे धीरे पसंद आया. ऐसे एक बार में I was not like, oh God, Oscar जानी चाहिए. But many people believe that it should have gone there. Bhumika. So, could you tell me why, according to you, is the movie named Kumbalangi Nights? Like, दिन में भी तो movie चल ही रही है. Why is it named Kumbalangi Nights according to you?
I think the fluorescent water that they showed at the end, probably that's why. And plus, I think more intensive scenes happen at night. The day is just a carry forward continuation error नहीं है उसलिए, but more intensive scenes happen at night. Probably that's why.
I think the suicide scene was there. जो रात को climax भी रात में था, and that's a good point actually. Anybody has a different idea about why is the movie named Kumbalangi Nights? Any different perception to it?
So I also think, as Bonnie said, that it's about nights. I mean, so I also believe that see, the nights here signifies, because it's a very small town. Okay, it's like an offshoot of Kochi, and this is a small town where there are homestays and all of that. And it's a tourist town also by the looks of it. So, but at night,
I think the first eco-tourist destination in India.
Yeah. So at night, I mean, whatever the hook by which they attract people, there are a lot of hooks for every single city. So, but what I feel is that here, when the sun sets and when night begins, people's personalities somehow change, and their true colors and who they really are, that comes forth. And the way people interact in their houses and also in the homestays with tourists or with themselves and with their own families, they have different facets to people living as residents in that space or moving to and fro from Kochi to that space, or those who are entrenched there for years. So in the same milieu during the day and during the night, how people who feel they are constituents and stakeholders in the society, how they might behave differently, and they might hide some colors in the day and reveal others in the night. I think that is how. And it's a way you say, right? Bangalore Days. I mean, you're talking about a film. It's Bangalore Days, Angamali Diaries. So it's about those memories, thoughts, actions, conversations with people, around people, and the incidents that actually entrench and locate those conversations in a particular milieu.
Correct. That's true. Let's talk about, so the way we're going to do this is, as Avantika also told me one thing, that this is a more character-driven movie rather than a plot-driven movie. It's more about the characters, and I thought it would be a better way to talk about the characters individually and not go in a chronology as such, and talk about the arcs of every character specifically. And बीच में कुछ ना कुछ scene हम discuss करेंगे. So let's first of all discuss about Franky, the youngest brother who was there. So just try and recollect about all the different scenes you remember him from. He was there in the starting 10-15 minutes. It was all about him. And then बीच में एक दो सीन आते हैं. I think जब वो जो अफ्रीकन अमेरिकन वहाँ पे आती है, उसके सामने एक सीन होता है, एक दो और सीन होते हैं जब वो थेरेपिस्ट के लेके जाता है. There are not a lot of scenes that come in after he's there in the movie. The movie begins. So could you do you believe that अगर ये character movie में नहीं होता, so the movie would have still been the same? The story would have still been the same?
I think pretty much it would have been the same, because उसका इतना कुछ ज़्यादा character transformation भी कुछ नहीं था. I think he was just an aid to let the narrative flow more seamlessly. क्योंकि he was like one of those, मतलब तीनों भाई के कुछ ना कुछ complexes थे, but this one was a seamless, मतलब कुछ ऐसे without any complexes वाला character था.
Are you sure कुछ नहीं था?
Pretty much, like वो बस छोटा बच्चा है, अभी फुटबॉल ही खेलता है, कुछ ज़्यादा, there's nothing too much about his character.
So basically, if that character wouldn't have been there, it would still have been fine for the movie. खाली एक वो
looked थोड़ा abrupt, but if we were not able to afford one more small person, I think the film would have been equally great.
Also, I just realized one point. Do you see? I am trying to compare Kumbalangi Nights with Kapoor and Sons. I'll try to do that आगे जाके भी in this discussion. Do you believe that Franky was like the Dada Rishi Kapoor over here, like the outsider, एक तरीके से outsider in this journey and the innocent one?
Yeah, so earlier your first question you asked was कि उसका कुछ flaw या कुछ character में कुछ
Arc.
mistake होता है या- No, not the arc. So in your first scene, you know, when the movie starts with Frankie, we see his dreams. He's getting bad dreams where he's drowning and the mother does not even acknowledge that. And then over the movie, when the movie gradually increases, like you see how his nature also changes. First of all, everyone knows that he feels neglected in the movie, but the mother figure he really misses, and he's the one who suggests. He's the one to go to their mother and everything. And when the ladies enter in their house, so we see that arc, though it's not a huge arc change of arc compared to everyone else, but ये थोड़ा change होता है. And Kapoor and Sons का comparison, what I found was like Rishi Kapoor was the one who bared the consequences of what his family was fighting and all this, whatever was going on with the family. उसको
यहाँ भी
फर्क
वही
पड़ा.
केस है ना एक तरीके से.
The casualty. Frankie का भी वैसा ही हो रहा था. That is what relation I could build.
That's true. That's true. So if you remember in the movie, English or folk songs या फिर regional songs का एक weird सा mixture था in the movie. So like, was it jarring for you?
There was this interview of the music director where he said he was greatly inspired by Italian music, and that could be the reason why he chose to give this angle to the music, as he found a similarity between Venice, if I'm not wrong, Venice and this village Kumbalangi.
That's true. That could be possible. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what he said. So that's why that was one line I could recall कि उसने ये बोला था, and that's why the music, and it had to go through a lot of selection and a lot of restructuring.
Possibly. But I had one question for everybody. There are two questions actually. I'll just pick the. Okay, I'll pick one. So first of all, I had a question regarding the music. Did you feel that as the movie transitioned, as the movie went on, so the characters had a transition right after a point. The main part when we realized the family relationship and the family dynamics was when he was at the therapist place and Bobby and Baby were together sitting in some lost island or somewhere, and they were talking about their family history. That was कैसे बोलूं, that was the point from where the movie took a particular turn, right? So do you think that the music also shifted एक तरीके से, because if you remember in the starting के पूरे part में जो theme song, the theme tune है वो play नहीं होता है बिल्कुल भी. It starts off, I think, only after the suicide scene वाला जो आता है ना, उसके बाद में जो scene जाते हैं, it's only then this music comes in. Like, why do you think कि suddenly ये sudden change था music में?
I think the music kind of went with the story because, as you yourself said, right, it's a slow burn movie. It starts off with these very plain, not so great characters. You don't want to know them, and that's where the background is very. It's like for Franky, this is all noise. This is not people talking. This is noise. And as these characters develop, their emotions become more clearer. Each of them get their own distinct identities and their distinct musical tones and tonalities to it. Plus, it's about Kerala. So I was talking to somebody, and just 1 minute I'll take. So I was talking to somebody who was a Mohiniyattam dancer, and that art form comes from Kerala. So I had gone for a workshop. So she said that the music and the art form resembles the way in things in Kerala because of the palm trees. So there is a sway, and Mohiniyattam also works in that flow and form. It's all circular. It's all in that flow. And if you listen to the music, it has a soothing flow to it, and it'll reflect the way the raindrops, the water, the fishermen kind of the going in the boat, and the what are they called, oars. So the music kind of complements that because it is a reflection of where they are, and that's where I kind of remembered when she told me that it's all in that it balances itself with the surroundings. So all music, wherever we kind of figure them out, we'll know that it is actually talking about how life goes over there. So,
that's a beautiful point. Thanks a lot for that, Shakti. Yes, Urja?
Yeah, I guess like the movie has a lot of characters. So like to place it properly, the songs were important. Like the same thing that Shakti sir said, that to give a flow to it, a smoother flow to it, because we are trying to take in a lot at one point of time and lot of characters, lot of stories. So I think that the reason why songs were placed that way was to develop the story as a whole.
Well,
Let's say Kapoor and Sons also too many characters, one story, and that way all the movies that have many characters are placed that way, I guess.
okay, let's move on to the next character we have to talk about. It's Bobby's character. Talking about Bobby, we'll also talk about the relationship that he shared with Baby. Um, First of all, how would you describe Bobby in the beginning? What characteristics would you give him in the beginning of the movie?
Yeah, basically, in a way, we can also say that whenever he was that person in the movie that was depicted as when it is necessary, I have to change myself. और नहीं तो कल देख लेंगे, जब जब करना रहेगा काम तभी देख लेंगे, नहीं तो फिर करना भी नहीं है, वो भी चलेगा. It was that attitude that we always shared with him throughout the movie, that ठीक है, but now it's on himself basically. When he's madly falling in love with Baby, he's trying to make the way out of his laziness, make the way out of his own problems that he's facing. Like we see it at the I guess when he's working at the factory, we see it when the work gets too monotonous, he starts getting fried with it. He starts getting bored, like ये नहीं मेरे से नहीं हो रहा है. And the other so basically, as I was saying, music is very important to him, 100%, which is why I guess his Bluetooth is 100 always charged up, is what I can understand
वो
throughout
speaker
the
ही घूमता है
movie.
हमेशा.
हाँ, कभी बैटरी खत्म ही नहीं होता है.
That's true. That's true. You know what? मैं ना एक VFX वाला एक वीडियो देख रहा था इसका, कुंबलंगी नाइट्स का, एक 2 मिनट का VFX का वीडियो है. In that, if you have seen that, उसमें
Yes. I watched it. It's everything in it, and I was like, ये earphones, ये Bluetooth speakers कहाँ मिल रहे थे इतने इतना beautifully music आ रहा है, तो ऐसे lights भी आ रहा है उसमें यार. What is this?
But the light is actually VFX, guys.
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah, that was
VFX के लिए पैसा दिया है लोगों ने, वो समझ.
That hurt me though. I didn't like that.
Yeah, what is the point of wasting money on this? I mean, anyways. Yes, Janani, do you feel, according to your understanding of the world and your perception or your purview of the world, do you feel their relationship was mature? Would you call it mature? Why?
No, it was not initially, because both actually the girl was very career oriented, or she was actually considerably more responsible than him. But she
Definitely.
going on, yeah.
Anybody is more responsible than him.
Yeah, but she going on falling for him just because he was her childhood crush didn't add up in reality. But then then again she says that true love ka koi cheez nahi hai kya. So true love is blind. So it was not mature, but no relationship is perfect for that fact. Both of them grow together, and I think that is what that matters in that movie, at least.
But again, it was not supposed to be mature. It was supposed to be how it is over there, right?
Yeah. Reality.
So what are your views on Kabir Singh चल रही थी
exactly. I was about to say that too.
When he was talking about being a man, I'm the man. And also in the washroom, that guy was like, Raymond, be a man.
Correct.
Like that.
Yeah.
Radhika, give a point. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no. So, and when they were, I also basically forgot what I was saying, but it was on the same lines of saying that she didn't care about his response. So, tension ho jata na when you've done something like that, but she didn't care. She's like, you were wrong. And one thing that you had asked somebody in the beginning about, what was the culturally thing that you observed. One thing that I noticed was how much voice the women had, even in a middle class house and something like that, which is a key mark of it's a little matriarchal society in few villages in South, not in this particular one, and it felt like that,
Just to add to Radhika's point, no, in Malayalam families, no, they mostly have matriarchal part of their family on a major side.
Yeah.
They don't follow the whole patriarchal part of their families. They always take in the matriarchal part of their family.
Wait. The matriarchal aspect of Kerala society, Kerala Hindu society at least, is a complete and total myth. Matriarchy, in the sense, the only difference there is that when the head of the family dies, the property goes to the uncle, the matriarchal uncle, not to the woman. It goes to the mama of the wife. it doesn't go to the woman at all. So this is a complete and total myth, and I think it is long it should be busted. And also when the guy dies and the woman comes to their house, the woman has to be rescued by these men and brought in by the men. So not a matriarchal society.
Correct. Also, let's talk a little about the like guys. I'm gonna ask you straight up. थोड़ा chill करते हैं अभी. एक बात बताओ. Tell me about a few movies in Indian cinema, not in Hindi. किसी की बताओ मेरे को in Indian cinema where you felt that the portrayal of a foreigner was appropriate. As in Rang De Basanti. Yeah, correct.
Lagan.
Was it really that? Tell me one thing. मुझे पता नहीं foreigner word से ही सबसे पहले thugs of हिंदुस्तान दिमाग में आती है for some reason. The way they have
It
मतलब
should be forgotten. It should be a foreign concept.
भाई मैं first day गया था 8 नवंबर को आई थी नोटबंदी के
Basanti, I mean the woman also who acted, she is the daughter of the former High Commissioner of Hong Kong. So she also she's from a so-called, she's not one of those extras whom you audition for cheap and then get them because foreign actors are so expensive. She's from high society. She's from a family of diplomats. So she went through Hindi classes and that's why that performance is legitimate, and she's a non-actor. And this was the only film she did. So
okay,
that was a very good representation of a foreigner new to India and trying to get accustomed to the culture.
श्रवण वो मूवी ना एग्जैक्टली 2 साल बाद आए थे नोटबंदी के और मैं उस 8 नवंबर को गया था मूवी देखने के लिए. You know, when I went to the movie, मैं मम्मी डैडी के साथ में गया था तो it was a fun watch for some reason. We were having fun. So मैं घर पे आया and I saw the reviews. So I was like हाँ मतलब मूवी ठीक लगी मेरे को. मेरे दिमाग में ऐसे था. When I saw the reviews and all, I'm like, oh shit, सब बहुत गंदी बेइज्जती कर रहे हैं. So I quickly changed my perception. अरे बहुत गंदी मूवी थी, जाना ही मत. Because कोई मुझे accept नहीं करता.
ये मैं हूँ.
Which one? Thugs of Hindustan?
Yeah, bro. अरे वो foreigners were talking within themselves in Hindi in that movie, if you remember. कुछ भी हो.
वही reason था बस.
हर बॉलीवुड मूवी में फॉरेनर्स हिंदी में ही बात करते हैं, इंग्लिश किसी को आती ही नहीं है.
Even the southern part of India will not accept it. I'm really glad that the optimism of going abroad and making them speak Hindi. This is another level of Hindi enforcement that we should all appreciate from whoever came up with it.
Achha, anyways, let's just quickly move on to the next topic we have to discuss. Let's talk a little about the character of Saji or Shaji. It's Saji, if I'm not wrong, right? Saji, correct. Yeah. So, talking about Saji, I want to talk about what there's a scene when he decides to commit suicide. Us time pe, if you remember, he was drinking, I remember, and us time pe he was kind of provoked एक तरीके से through something, कुछ trigger हुआ उसके अंदर when he was talking to his partner, Ian, जो भी करते थे business में उसका partner था, उससे बात कर रहा था. So my question was, in that he's kind of talking about how Bonnie shouted at him for the first time. एक तरीके से मारने की कोशिश किया उसको. It's the same person who used to play with me properly वगैरह वगैरह. So like दो तरीके से रिएक्शन होते हैं एल्डर्स का. एक तरीके से एक होता है कि आप कंप्लेन कर रहे हो कि यार देख कैसे पहले था, आप जाके मेरे से कैसे बात करने लग गया है. और दूसरा होता है यार पहले कैसे था एंड लाइक अब कैसे हो गया है. एक होता है इंट्रोस्पेक्टिंग जोन में, एक होता है कंप्लेनिंग जोन में. Where do you think he was in which zone he was? Yes, Bhavesh?
I think he was acknowledging that he was mentally ill because he was manipulating people to pay attention to him. It was his inner child calling out for attention. Because at that point, nobody was acknowledging that person's humanity. In the movie, his brothers rejected him, his father has passed away, his mother has gone the gospel path. And his business partner decides to leave him exactly at that point. The most impulsive moment when he is drunk. So he doesn't exist. To himself, he doesn't exist in that moment. So how does he make himself exist? By saying, hey, if I died, would anybody care? And he made the person care, and that person died in the process.
That's actually the entire point of it. That's really good. एक बात बताऊं, the question regarding this, I had a question regarding the mom. The mom was it gospel जो पाथ ले लिया जिसने. So what was the deal with her? Why did she not want to go back? Like मतलब क्या था? Is she not responsible? मतलब वो responsibility नहीं चाहिए उसको? बच्चे नहीं पसंद अपने. What was it? Like was it just spirituality overall?
See, you might have noticed कि जब वो मिलने के बाद वापस आते हैं, the third sibling, he starts cursing his mom. So Shaji says कि don't curse her because she has done a lot for the family and it's time for her to live for herself. So it's not like that she didn't want to do anything for them. She was done with that part of her face and she was in a better phase. She didn't want to go back to that phase. Maybe that's why she didn't want to go back.
Possibly, that's a good point actually. Anybody has a different point to add to this?
I mean, this is not clearly implied in the film, but just हवे में तीर के हिसाब से बोल रहा हूँ कि there are people who have difficulty showing nurture for their own children. Because if you look at the fact that she was not present in their life, that's एक तरफ. But the fact that she did not express any kind of happiness at the fact that her son is going to get married, and just said, I will pray for your this thing, I will pray and I'll bless you. That means maybe she has been through a hard life, maybe she's reached a point where expressing joy without the filters of whatever she has been through in the past is not easy for her.
She actually had a really tough life. She went through 2 husbands. She had 4 children, and from what the way the culture of that place showed, where the widow of the friend also said that I am a curse and this curse will follow you. Maybe she thought of herself like, dude, I've gone through 2 husbands now. I don't know I'm going to raise these kids alone. It's better that I take my misery out of their lives and go somewhere where my misery only affects me. And that is why probably the detachment of complete emotion, that even if I show emotion, that emotion will lead to something bad happening to them. I just want to pray for them. Like you just you're better away from me kind of a deal. So probably that's the kind of mindset she's in. And she thinks, like Bhavesh also said, she thinks she called her son. Maybe she didn't, or maybe she did, but we don't even know whether she actually did.
Yes, that is.
To answer your question directly, I think that more screen time could have been offered to both Bonnie and Franky. I mean, they offered too much screen time to Bobby, whose story was fairly cliche, to be very frank. It was a typical love story. The scenes was a typical love story, Lovey-dovey. It would have been more interesting maybe to see Bonnie flirt with the foreigner, or to maybe see Franky, playing with the small children and irritating Uncle Shammi. Something like that. That would have made for more compelling storylines, in my opinion, instead of giving too much time to Bobby.
That's correct. Actually, I also believe that, because Bonnie ke liye, so see what came to my mind when I saw the relationship that Bonnie shared with the foreigner, and also 2 things came to my mind. First was Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, in which Farhan Akhtar's character, when he meets this Spanish woman, and he's talking to her, but like uski language समझ में नहीं आ रही है, but he's just confronting what's there in his mind. यहाँ पे कुछ भी ऐसा ऐसा कुछ confront कर रहा होता, because he doesn't confront, he has made peace with everything, but like still there could be something within him that he wanted to discuss with her, and he says it in the way in which Barfi does it. Barfi, he can't speak, but he's saying a lot, right? In a way, अगर एक scene ऐसा होता, so again it could have made a proper arc for him.
I think there were 2 scenes like that, but there could have been more. I mean, there was the moonwalk thing, which was brilliantly pulled off, and there was the harmonica thing, which was also so beautiful.
Definitely. Let's quickly talk about about the house, and then we'll talk about Shammi after that. So firstly, again, what do you think was the house symbolic of?
What did you think it is symbolic of?
So again, it's a very dilapidated state, as it's shown as a dump yard. एक तरीके से गंदा वो तो है ही. Just symbolic of their family and the situation that they're disorganized. There's no door. The door का भी I think some significance is there कि मतलब it's not a proper house. Plastered walls नहीं है, bathroom ढंग से बना नहीं है.
It's one of those Parasite. If you've seen the movie Parasite, it's one of those things where no matter how much you try to overcome your circumstance, it's not enough for people who are way more privileged than you.
Yeah, so for me, very honestly, they tried to romanticize the house a lot. मतलब so छत है, दीवारें हैं, दरवाजे नहीं है, खिड़कियां भी है कि नहीं है कहीं ना कहीं, but they've tried to kind of make do with giving those curtains on the top और पंखे चल रहे हैं. So it's basically a house that you would go to if you're going out on a beach or bar लेट गए, दोस्तों के साथ एक रात गुजार ली, but you won't want to live there for like 40 days and 40 nights. Okay, so it's like, okay, hang out के लिए अच्छा है, रात को सोने के लिए ठीक है, छत चाहिए और एक बाथरूम होगा तो चलेगा, but रह नहीं सकते. और इसी that's how the reality of the house hits you in the morning. ये भाई भी अगर आप देखें, like for me the title also is like, because everybody comes back home at the end of the night, at the end of the day. और रात को ही सब मिल के जो भी मचान होते हैं वो सब रात को होता है. So that's why the movie is also called that. But in the night, in that dim light, in that whole color, everything looks beautiful. The reality hits you in the morning, and that's why everybody starts moving out of the house. Subah subah ke chalo bhago yahan se.
It's a beautiful take, actually. That's a beautiful take. Yeah. Okay, let's get to talking about Shammi. I know everybody's been waiting for that for some reason. The interesting thing about this villain of sorts was that generally the perception of villains है कि बहुत ही untidy से होंगे, बहुत अजीब से दिखने वाले type के. He's the most sophisticated, poised and cleanest character in the entire movie एक तरीके से. The cleanest का भी अलग level वाला. If you remember that scene when he's looking in the mirror and कि the complete man वाला scene है, Raymond the complete man, एक बिंदी होती है in the mirror, if you remember. वो बिंदी निकाल के फेंक देता है कि मतलब मेरे रास्ते में आ रही है एक तरीके से. And then when he says the line कि I'm the complete man, then he realizes उसका पेट निकला हुआ है. Then he just does पेट अंदर कर लेता है कि just show now I'm the perfect man. So that was one aspect of him which was quite interesting according to me. Also, the scene in which Saji and Bobby went to the salon for the proposal, the entire salon's the shop was red colored and बीच में कुछ ऐसे designs ही बने थे, थोड़े dragon type designs बने हुए थे, थोड़ा evil या devil से ऐसे feeling आ रही थी उस वजह से. And like if you remember उसके हाथ में वो blade था, वो तो काफी evident था. Blade वाला scene था, वो like कुछ करने वाले, पक्का कुछ करने वाले. But like you waited when he'll do something, but in the entire thing he didn't do anything. So like the unpredictability of this character was what made him the most interesting. I'm sure everybody who watched it for the first time and didn't know about the movie, your last में if you आप किसी को पता था कि वो मारने वाला है किसी ना किसी को, but then he went and just sat, मतलब वो दीवार के पास जाके खड़ा हो गया. I'm like, what did he just do? Oh my god, what was that? ऐसे हो गया था like.
And actually, Shammi's character is also a tribute to Jack Torrance from The Shining. क्योंकि लास्ट में जब शमी वो स्पीयर लेके दरवाजे में घुसाता है वो की होल में से वो कैमरा लिया है, then you know, oh my god, this is Jack Torrance Shining. वहां पे he was alcoholic and he was being literally eaten up alive by the demons of the Overlook Hotel and his own past. Here Shami is being eaten up by the demons of his toxicity and his urge to exert power at all costs.
Yes, Tarit.
Wasn't he like an almost identical replica of Kabir Singh in this movie?
No, I would say more Jack Torrance and less of Kabir Singh. Kabir Singh is a person who, so this man knows no love, I guess. This man is more dealing with his own repressed sexuality and repressed angst for total power and dominance. Kabir Singh didn't want dominance. Kabir Singh wanted possession. This man wants dominance at the cost of other people's agency.
But so Kabir Singh wanted possession, right? He
wanted no, this is not possession. This is dominance. Possession and dominance don't always go together.
But hero complex to try now, I mean.
Just being a superior person in his own family in a way.
Not hero. I don't think so, hero, because Kabir Singh doesn't want to be the person who always saves Preeti. Okay, he goes to save her, but he also in the end becomes a victim of his own ego. This man can never even see himself as a victim. So I don't think he's Arjun or Kabir.
Yeah. You know what? I actually watched this crazy movie today, Jallikattu. It's another Malayalam movie. Fuck, I'm generally recommending actually to everyone over here. Please just go and watch it. I just try to draw a comparison. Matlab, I think Pranav wanted me to do that. I couldn't actually find how exactly can we do that. But just ek cheez tha, Kumbalangi is shown like this peaceful place, and it's Jallikattu is also a Malayalam movie set in a village, but like it's gory, it's bloody, it's just matlab. Mad Max Fury Road देखिएगा सबने, so it's just the Indianized version of Mad Max Fury Road. उसको अगर A rated थी Mad Max Fury Road तो ये A plus rated movie है एक तरीके से. Again, this is a final point to complete the discussion. So the movie tries to show different aspects of masculinity in some way or the other. So can we say that by the end of it, these broken or irresponsible characters became real men?
I don't think so. They didn't become real men. They were just better versions of what they were yesterday.
So if I ask you what a real man is, like, what would you?
I will not tell you that, because that's putting masculinity in a box.
That's true. That's why
which I agree with. If you cannot define femininity because it is putting it in a box, the same thing applies to masculinity, right? If a person has so-called feminine, if a person wants to like dress and drag all the time, that is as much a man if he is comfortable with what he's doing. as any other man is. So there's no point defining masculinity, right?
That's true.
But they are just a better version of themselves. Like at the end, also the elder brother was like, "Hey, our house is better." For him, it was like, "Hey, now my younger brother is employed." Whatever. Like they're just trying to be better. So they are not perfect. They are very far from perfect at the end. Only thing I had typed this out and I erased it because we had not reached the end of the movie. There are certain parts of the movie where you see commercial pressures coming in, like the romance between the two characters. Even at the end, they show Bobby married baby. Even if you did not show that Bobby married baby and just left the movie to end right before that, where they overcame the guy and caught him in a fish net, it would be okay. The fact that Bobby married baby is a commercial pressure to me to not piss. Hey, there's an happy ending. No, let us assume there is a happy ending. No, one of the brother is out of the picture anyway. The cops will probably act on his actions. Do you guys feel that scene was necessary to so like blatantly write Bobby marries baby? Was that really required?
I'll tell you one thing. Why I felt they did that was the movie had a particular tone in the entire movie, starting se leke, and then the climax, एक तरीके से the narrative got derailed in some way or the other. It got derailed, right? And again, उसको फिर से पटरी पे लाना था by showing that no, this is the same movie you were watching the entire time.
But do you want that feeling? Do you need that feeling?
I don't know.
Maybe you need to be made to feel like someone is pandering to.
See, I think the movie काफी हद तक was supposed to be a feel-good movie. काफी हद तक, so that is why वो एक taste, a sweet taste देके छोड़ना था उनको. That is why. Again,
you really think a feel-good movie would show a man crying in the arms of his therapist?
Okay, I didn't. मेरा feel-good का मतलब यार बहुत ज़्यादा you took it in that sense. But like you get, I don't know how to explain it, but you get what I'm trying to say. In a way, a breezy movie, if that makes sense.
Do you really think it's a breezy movie? I'm genuinely like just picking your mind. I'm asking, you think this is a breezy movie?
Can someone help me with better adjectives over here, please?
Actually, Baby with Bobby is established from the very beginning itself. Since the scene where Baby sees Bobby and she says that he was my childhood crush, and I always wanted, how would it be on the wedding cards if it was Baby versus Bobby? And also when she was talking to her sister, also she mentions Baby with Bobby. So it has always been there, and it was just a closure that okay, this happened. Even if the scene wasn't there, but it wouldn't have made much difference. But it being there, it also didn't affect you in any bad way, and also it was not a lag. Also, I don't know. Shouldn't a feel good movie have a person crying on the therapist? Is that so wrong? Like he's trying to become better, question. And that is the whole point.
Guys, I wanted to ask a question.
Yeah.
So I don't remember when I read this or who said this. I guess it was 21 Pilots or some poet saying that having suicide is an option that we have inherently, and to prevent someone from having suicide is taking that option away from them. What do you feel about that? I just want to know your opinion, because suicide might not be that bad. It's good to have an option.
For certain people, it might not be that bad. Yeah, I agree with you. Life is not easy. It's a question like I want to present back to you and to everybody. I've seen 2 or 3 documentaries on the issue of right to die, which is not allowed in India, by the way.
Euthanasia.
But euthanasia. But a person who is conscious and alive, who has a terminal illness, who doesn't go to a palliative care home, who says just put an injection in my arm and I want to die right now because I don't want to be a burden to anybody. Like I have stage. Yeah. So right to die, they have to go. Even American and British people have to go to Switzerland because it is legal in Switzerland. They have to go to Switzerland to do that. And I was so moved by the reasoning that these people gave, saying कि मेरे को stage 2 cancer है, there is no way I can be saved. Why should I spend 70 days being a burden to my husband who I love, to my children who I love, knowing that I'm going to die anyway, there is no cure for it. So do you guys believe that the right to die is an inherent human right?
Yes, you're not born with the choice. Why can't you die with
exactly
your own choice?
But does everybody else believe that?
Yeah, I think I do, because suicide is a very courageous step. People say suicide is a moment of weakness. It is not. I don't think it is. At least from my own experience, I can talk only from my experience. I might be wrong. I knew a friend who almost was on the brink of committing suicide. I saved my undergrad friend and took him to. Luckily, I was in the area. I took him to hospital at night and all of that. People were out to judge him, saying that the reason for which he was doing it seemed petty for somebody outside, but to him it meant the world. So maybe I think it is a very courageous step to take actually, because every cell in our body is engineered and wired to go against the instinct of self-harm.
But it's also agency, right? You can decide what to do with your body. So if you want
to override that instinct of surviving at any cost is, I guess, it is sheer willpower.
Right. But the thing, only counter argument that people have to the right to die is that if you have a mental illness, then you are not equipped to decide that you want to die.
But a perfectly sane person deciding to commit suicide cannot be diagnosed.
What is sane?
Okay. I don't know then. Maybe then somebody who is designated as medically insane or someone who's designated as a person who's being treated for some mental disorders or mental illness could be maybe certified as a person capable of self-harm, not out of his own agency, as you said, but out of maybe a bipolar or a split personality or maybe...
Going by the DSM, diagnostic statistic, whatever that manual is.
Yeah.
But that is an outdated so just if that book defines the person as mentally ill, it would define half of us as mentally ill.
So I'm just saying that, suicide is such a tricky topic talking about the state of mind, whether it's a courageous thing or a quit, is not really the right approach to it. Yeah. It's more about, God damn it, let's see how we can help this person. So that's why everybody is now getting into that mode where, we are having some helplines. I don't know how many people call them. We've got pandemic helplines because people are getting depressed. So मेरे ऑफिस में सब लोगों ने रखा था कि भाई if you feel depressed call up. मैंने भी ना नंबर दिया था, किसी ने फोन नहीं किया था.